Pixel. I am a big fan of Google's hardware. I say it a lot, even though I've been very, very critical of them for the past couple of podcasts and in my writings. I do have a soft spot for them. So anytime we get the latest Google phone news, I'm going to talk about it. And yeah, we got more of what to expect when we get the latest Google Pixel 4. So we got a chance to see a picture as it was leaked out this week showing a technology that's going to be embedded in the bezel that's going to be in a Pixel 4. Me, along with a couple other people, was very critical of why Google's going to have this big chin or forehead at the very top of the phone when other companies are getting away from the notch, getting away from the chin, the bezel, the forehead. They're getting away from all that and going all glass. You see companies like Samsung that did it with the latest Galaxy phone, even though they went with the hole punch display. We're seeing them doing it with the Note 10. And you look at OnePlus, they pretty much went all glass, moving the front-facing camera to a mechanized unit that pops up and down. So with technology evolving to that being the new way that we're kind of expecting our phones to go to, it's like, okay, Google, you are stuck in the past. Why are you guys going to stick with the simple fact of the old school bezel and forehead, as we say, all that space? And, well, there's a good reason for that. And that's because they're looking to throw in some technology that you're not going to see in other phones. So let's go ahead and tell you what all going to be in that space that's in the top part of your phone. So you're going to see two face unlock IR cameras, a front-facing camera, audio port, a Sony radar chip, which I will explain a little bit more in a second, a face unlock dot projector, and a face unlock flood illuminator. Now, to go back to the Sony radar chip, what is that? Earlier this year, LG had put out a phone, the LG G8 ThinQ, and one of the things that they were pitching as the feature that phone have is the ability to use gestures to turn the phone up and down and answer alarms and stuff like that. And basically, the camera can read the gestures of what you're doing with your hand. And we're seeing that Google is going to do the exact same thing, or potentially the same thing, with their Solar radar chip. Now, the question has to be, will they be able to do this better than what LG did? Because people were critical of the fact that LG put that out there and it didn't work as well as LG had hoped. Now, Google, I believe, do have the potential to do a much better job than LG with this because, well, for one, I think what sets Google apart is the fact that they do have software, especially when it comes to innovating, as critical as we continue to be with their hardware and even the blandness of their software at times. This software is optimized and it do take advantage of some new technologies out there that, well, other companies are still trying to catch up on. And one in particular is the simple fact that we talk about that started out with the first Pixel, the camera technology. They took that one sensor and for three phones straight have dominated the market as far as the camera smartphone area using their technology. Mainly software, taking machine learning and able to take an image and process it in a way that makes it better than any other smartphone camera on the market. So if they was able to do that with the camera hardware, I just can't wait to see what they would be able to do with this. And I think Google may be able to actually pull this off. And this is not the first time they've taken another smartphone idea and embedded it into their own technology. We saw that with HTC a couple years ago when they came out where you have the squeeze factor. And now you see it now in pretty much every Pixel phone now, where you can squeeze on the phone to activate Google Assistant. So to answer my question from my intro, do this change how I feel about Google's hardware? Because I have been very critical of all they've done so far. Complain about, the rumor specs of them having only 6 gigabytes of RAM when you see that companies are, for the most part, getting above and beyond that. And feeling like Google should do the same. And we're just hoping that they at least put 120 gigabytes of storage on there. We know it's not going to have a refresh rate even though we're seeing more companies able to do that. So with Google only relying on the simple fact that they're going to rely on their technology as far as their innovation using software and taking the hardware that they're going to have in the cameras on the front, as well as now moving to 3 cameras on the rear that they're going to pair with the same software that took the 1 camera on the Pixel and made it dominant. Do this change my whole perspective of the Pixel 4? And in some ways, it do, because it do open the door and give me hope for continuing to see what Google is able to do as far as how they're able to take technology and push it forward. So yes, in a way, I am looking forward to this, but also I have to be honest. I still really wish they will put the hardware in there to make it kind of look the part as well. Why? Well, because if we get this Pixel 4 and it have all this technology in there, and let's just say for the simple fact the solar thing do work. It works as intended. But you look at that 6 gigabytes of RAM, and even though they supposedly optimize it to work better, which I will argue against that with the Pixel 3 XL, that it's not optimized enough to make it worth them sticking with the lower RAM solution, then we're going to have a situation where can it handle what we're wanting to handle? And plus, you got to look at that. People use their phone for different reasons. Not everyone want to use their phone for the same. Some people do use it mainly for business. Some people do use it for just calls and texts. But some people may want to play games on it. And we are getting to that area now where we're using our phones for pretty much everything. So when you have the competition out there, putting out refresh rates, packing it with the RAM, packing it with the storage, if you're going to be on that level, people are going to want you to kind of look the part and do the same thing. And allow the other technologies that you're putting in, the cameras, the IR sensors, the solely radar chips, just all that stuff that you're putting in your cameras to set it apart, to be the thing that put it over the top. And not say that, well, we believe this is what is going to make it on par with the competition, despite us choosing to use a lower RAM choice. Now, I could get this phone and Google can finally figure out what they did wrong with the Pixel 3 XL, optimize it to the point where this phone actually runs smoother than any other phone out there. They really could. And if they do that, I will gladly eat my words for this. But if they don't, if we get the latest Pixel and it end up being similar to what we expect, where like the Pixel 3 XL, where, yeah, it's just missing so much to make it a flagship. A lot of people are going to start wondering, is it better to just wait till spring and wait for stuff like the Pixel 4a and the Pixel 4a XL, knowing that likely the same technology that's in the Pixel 4 and the Pixel 4 XL are going to make it there, but the only exception will probably be instead of having metal and glass, you can have a little plastic and maybe a lower resolution screen. And if that's the case, I know I may start looking at that and say, okay, I may get the latest powered phone, whether it be the OnePlus or the Galaxy, and maybe pick up something like that just for a project or just to play around with for that. And then even for those who may say, look, I don't have the money to be buying multiple phones. I need a phone that's going to last, and I'm not trying to spend the extra money for something that is not going to do that. Then even to them, I would still say, hey, just wait for the Pixel 4a and the 4a XL, save you a little money, and you're going to still get the same software updates. You're going to still have the same great cameras. You're going to still have the same tweaks. And at the same time, you put a little extra money in your pocket. And you know when it comes to Google phones, it's going to last 2 to 3 years because I give Google credit to that in the fact that they will continue to update it. It will continue to provide security updates timely, in a timely manner, as well as continue to make sure they support their phones.